And live.
All right. My name's Paxton Delaney. Another tool talk here for you. I've got two different tools I'm going to talk about. One is the first one's going to be Crafty Extensions for Google Chrome. What this is, the link that we received from Dr. Sessoms had three different options on there. You had Crafty Level, Crafty Text, and Crafty Writes. With these three different extensions, you download them and they come up on the toolbar on your Google Chrome website with the Crafty Text. Mainly use that one for doing presentations. It's a box that'll pop up once you click onto the icon, and in that box, whatever you type will, after you hit enter, it'll enlarge and take up the entire screen. So that'll be something if you wanted class to concentrate on a website that you wanted them to write down, you could type that in there and it would pop right up there. Or if you need them to know your Twitter address or something along those lines, or any important information, it just takes up the entire screen for them. And all you do is hit enter again and it disappears right off the screen. The other one was Crafty Level. What this does is it takes any website that you use. If you have different articles on there, it lets you know what grade level they are appropriate for. So it takes, when I got it off, when I put it into a Google search on Wikipedia, they actually had a formula that they had written out. It was like total words over total sentences times like 0.39 plus total syllables over total word count or something along those lines. So what it would do is just figure that out and then let you know on that icon in the Google toolbar if it was appropriate for third graders, appropriate for second graders, whichever that formulated calculated out to be. And they used it was like the Fleisch-Kincaid, I think, test is what they were using to figure out the grade level that would be appropriate for. And then the other one was Crafty Writes. And with this one, you click on that, and it shows you a bunch of different images that Google has that students and teachers are able to use no matter what. They don't have to get any permission to use them. All those are all right, so you don't have to worry about copyright issues with using any of those images. And a lot of them, it says for all of it, especially like the grade level or the Crafty Level and the Crafty Writes. It's a newer program that they have going on, so it still has a little bit that needs to be fixed out. So some of the pictures you may have a little bit of copyright issues, and some of the grade levels may be a little bit off, but it's a good tool to at least get you in the right direction.
Are all of those free?
Yep. Yeah. Each of them you just download them, and it's just as long as you're on your Google Chrome website, each icon, it's like CT for Crafty Text, CR for Crafty Writes, and CL for the Crafty Levels. They'll each appear right on that toolbar, and then you'll just have to click on those for them.
I like the Crafty Level that shows the reading level. I think that formula is actually the same one Newsela uses, but now you don't have to rely just on those articles on Newsela. You can use it for whatever. If you want to do current events, or if you find a story online or something like that you want to share with your students, that one would be really great. That way you can make sure it's appropriate before you share it with the students.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you said, it's not with Newsela where it's all just on that one website. You can use it for anything that you find on the internet.
Yeah, because it's hard to tell sometimes if what kind of the article, if it's going to be at age level and everything. So that's a really easy way, and it saves us time from really going through the whole thing, making sure. Instead, you can just kind of scan it and then put it in that and see what it says.
Mm-hmm.
I think that also makes it easier for differentiation. If you want, some students to read a higher level because they're at a higher level, and then you want some students to read something at a little bit of a lower level just because they aren't quite ready for that higher level reading yet. So you can actually pinpoint it to where that level of challenge you want your students to be at.
Yeah, like find two articles about the same topic, just that one's at a fourth grade reading level and one's at a second grade reading level. But you can go ahead and intertwine them in your same classroom just because some kids are able to do the fourth grade and the other ones need the second grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, for gifted and talented kids in your class, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. I got my other one was a form Mule. What this one does is pretty much using Mule, M-U-L-E, to say how that does all the work. Well, that's what this website does for you. It does all the work in building any type of form that you need. With this one, it has a free sign up. With that sign up, it includes, I think it was 10 different forms with 2 different themes, and then you get 5 different reports that you can also make with that one. It only includes 1 user, so you'd be the only one that would be able to use it. What this does is any type of form that you'd want to create, this does all the work for you. All you have to do is drag and drop for the most part when you're creating these forms. When I watched the intro video, some of the forms were used for for wedding invitations. Would send this out via email, and people could respond with, you could put questions on there as to what you wanted for your entree, how many guests you were going to bring, and then if you had any specific comments like allergies or you needed to sit up front or something along those lines, you could write those into a comment box that you would have on the form for the people. Also, another one was different surveys. For instance, you could use this at the end of a school year for all your students to evaluate how you've done, come up with different evaluation questions, and then give them, 4 options: outstanding, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, whatever along those lines, and then they can just send these back to you. Another one that I was thinking of for a classroom would be like a field trip form. You could send these out to make these on through this website, and then send these home with students, or you could even email them to their parents at home. And also with these forms, you can also send payments with these. Right now they only have PayPal and one other one. I can't remember which one it was. But again, this is another new one as well. So all they want you to do is, the more people that are using it, if there's nothing on there that allows you to, gives you a way to pay for something, you email them and they'll try and incorporate that into their website. Obviously, it would take them a little time to get that in there. But this saves you from having to write any types of different formulas through the computer and develop any different programs to make these forms. Everything is done for you right on here, and you can develop it however you want. Tons of different ways that you can customize it to make it yours.
Yeah, the payment part is perfect for field trips or anything else that, like I know for field day at Pemberton, all the kids had to bring in white shirts, and if the teacher just wanted to buy, 25 white shirts, you could just have the parents make payments through that. And the form and survey part, I think, would also be good for like parent-teacher night. Send out things before, what kinds of things do you want to see or know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about the parent-teacher night, or even for fundraising purposes, or just any kind of thing that you need to send out to parents. You could use that form. Like if you're collecting student information at the beginning of the year, have them fill out a form for it. Or if you have a survey for an event, or you want to see who's bringing what to your class party or something like that, it would be really great for just organizational reasons and parent-teacher relationships.
Hey, parent. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was wondering, is it? I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like Rubistar at all. I don't know if you can make a rubric with Formule, because I feel like a rubric is a type of form. I don't know if that's an option you could do on Formule or not.
I imagine with all the different options you could, but I think this is mainly for your surveys and your collecting different information, as opposed to handing out information for somebody to follow like Rubistar would be.
Okay.
And then when you're talking about with contact with the parents too, it also saves you from handing forms out into the students, and if it is something that you need to collect money for, they lose it in their book bag or it never makes it home to the parent. This way, if you can email it, and with everything I feel like is becoming credit card style, very few people have cash on them anymore. So this helps those people that if you want to just pay with your credit card, you have it available right there for you to do at your house, instead of having to send cash in with your kid to make sure that it gets all the way to the teacher.
Yeah, I feel like it could be also used for quizzes if you just want to have a multiple choice thing. It might work for that as well.
Okay. So my first tool is UDL Exchange, and this is the website we use to create our lessons, which is pretty much what you use the website for. It's more a website for teachers than it is students. You create your lessons pretty much on any subject you want, English, math, science, social studies. And pretty much what it does is it provides the framework for the lesson. Like, it has an introduction, it has Common Core state standards, it has the lesson itself, the intro, the conclusion, the hook, the materials you're going to need, and how you're actually going to teach the lesson. And it's really easy to use. You can browse. You can even browse model lessons. So if you don't really have the time to make your own, they have hundreds and hundreds of lessons on math and everything else. And it's free as well. And you can filter if you're browsing, you can filter it by grade level. You can filter it by purpose. So like classroom instruction, small group, professional development. You can filter it by like what media is involved in it, if it's a document or if there's videos, presentations, and yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know if you guys have any other ideas, but the main purpose I think for this website to use in the classroom is for teachers to create, create effective lessons. Like, so it has all the everything you need to create an effective lesson.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it when we had to use it. And it was really simple and easy to use, and I think that some lesson plan templates they have a lot of extra stuff that's really unrealistic for actual teaching, and this one didn't really seem like that. Like, a lot of times some templates will have like all these extra things that you have to do, and it's like a principal would never want that in your lesson plan. They don't want to read through all that stuff. They just want the important parts of the lesson, and I think that I liked that template, and I like how you can browse lessons because it kind of gives you ideas.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. When you browse the lessons, you wouldn't have to worry about, you wouldn't have to take that entire lesson, but if you couldn't really think of anything, you could check those out just to get some ideas, and then, either just build off somebody else's, or maybe it just helps trigger something in you that you're able to go ahead and come up with your own lesson after that.
I think something that helped me a lot when we were using... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You can go ahead since you already started.
Oh, okay. So I think one of the other benefits from it is that in each of the sections they had that little info. I know for me, I was confused what the difference was between goals and objectives. Mm-hmm. And so they had those little helpful little tip things saying like, oh, this is what a goal is and what it's supposed to be, and this is what an objective is supposed to be. And they had it for every section. So I think that's also helpful when you're trying to decipher what each thing means.
Yeah, I use that for goals and objectives too.
Yeah. And then what I was going to say is I love that it has it's built for the purpose of making UDL lessons. So I love that it has the UDL framework already in mind. So all you have to do is add it in, and it shows you step by step how to do that and how to make your lessons more accessible to all of your students.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think are the lessons on there all teacher created, or are they created by the UDL?
I think most of them are teacher created, but I feel like there's probably a few that are on there that are created by the UDL staff or the group that is a part of UDL. But
CAS.
Yeah. All right. So the other tool that I did was TouchCast, and this is pretty much an interactive video tool. Students create videos with it, and you can add links in the video itself that'll link to other websites or other information about the topic. You can add there's a green screen that you can add, so you can have cool backgrounds, make it like a newsroom or, Safari or whatever the topic is they're doing. And also they have tutorial videos, so that's also helpful because I know I was trying to look at it and I didn't really know even where to get started. And again, this is a free account as well. So there's a lot of videos that teach you how to use it. And I saw that their featured section has a lot of TouchCast by BBC and Wall Street. And again, you can insert any media you want, pictures, video, and you can search inside the video, like so on the timeline of while it's running, there's little circles in the middle. And so if you click on it, that'll link to the interactive portions so they can insert games and stuff. And it also tells you where the key points are. So if you're making them answer questions from the video, that would be where they would click to find the questions that you're having them answer.
Nice. I like that option with the green screen. I think that's really cool. I think that would really entertain them trying to figure out a different little video to go in the background of them speaking about whatever they're talking about. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and then the newsroom option, that would be great for having students maybe do weekly with current events.
Or
doing with like learning about different events in history, and then them having to, you know, make a newscast with that. And also with the green screen makes me think of like project approach, and when if after the students went to wherever they learned about, like if they learned about airplanes and they went to an airport, they could put the videos or pictures they had on in the background with the green screen, and kind of make like a video like they were there. Well, they were there, but you know, make a video like they and have that in the background. So that would be pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that this goes either way. You can use it as a teacher, you can use it to make your lessons more engaging by having those videos that are interactive, or you can, you know, let the students use it for a project-based approach and have them show what they know in a really creative, fun way.
Yep.
Any other questions or anything else you want to add about TouchCast before I move on?
I mean, like I remember the last talk we talked, or the last time we were talking about how people get nervous to like present in front of the class. So if they make this video, it's another way for them to be presenting in front of the class, but like not really having to like stand up in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, with the newsroom, it may, I mean, because I guess a lot of students, it's not really too entertaining for them to learn about the news. But if you do it that way, it's almost like a kind of like a Saturday Night Live version of the news for you.
Yeah, and that kind of, you know, interview talk helps with, you know, students getting more comfortable because it's just a one-on-one setting, and I think that would help a lot with fluency, writing your own script and having to read those questions and ask people and everything.
And you could, like when you say you do interviews, you could almost have other students dress up or act as, you know, other presidents in the past or something like that, and have them do like an interview with them about something that they've done just to inform students of, you know, for a social studies lesson or something along those lines. You talk to an old war leader or you know, old army leader or something like that.
Yeah,
I feel like you could, sorry, Shelley.
It's okay. I just think I can see students, like especially upper elementary, but any grade, I can see them having a lot of fun with that and thinking that it's really fun.
Yeah, fun way to learn, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was thinking it could be a way to get community members involved. If you did, like, say you did a career day or something, you could interview your parent about their career or something like that, and then make a video about it to share with the class.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
like some kind of show and tell kind of thing. It would be really engaging and get that community involvement in your classroom.
that'd be real cool.
Yeah.
Next.
All right. The tool I'm going to talk about is actually a Discovery Education article that lists a whole bunch of tools that teachers can use in their classroom. It's the URL is web2014.discoveryeducation.com/web20tools.cfm. But basically, it splits different Web 2.0 tools into 5 different categories. The categories are presentation tools, video tools, mobile tools, community tools, and then they also have an additional section with related links that just offer some extra tools that didn't fit into one of those categories. So under the presentation tools categories, the tools they talk about are SlideShare, Prezi, and PixViewer. So it gives you the links to those, and it gives you a little description about what they are and how you can, or basically just what they are. And then it also gives you a little bit of information about why you should use these in your classroom, like why you should use different presentation software. About just, you know, how it makes it easy to present information and how it makes it more fun and engaging for students. The next category, let's see, under, sorry, got to back up to it. The video tools that they list are Animoto.com, which turns your photos and videos into, like, I'm trying to think. It's basically like a video editing tool, and it brings your videos into, like, you can put pictures, photos, and music together to make your video. And then they also have an education site, so it's animoto.com/education, which is actually the second one on the list. And it's specifically designed for classroom use. So the Animoto.com is more for just personal use, which your students could use outside of the classroom, and then the education one the teachers could use it and the students could use it to do their do projects and stuff. And then the last one was photopeach.com, which just makes you do, it lets you do slideshows with your pictures, and you can put in built-in polls and quizzes.
I like how it gives you why to use them, and that you could, you know, sometimes parents or supervisors might not understand why you're using a certain kind of tool, and then you could, you know, give them this resource to see, you know, this is why, and here's some other information to back it up.
And I have a question. What is? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead and ask your question because I was going to move on to something else that's related to it.
Oh, I was wondering what are community? Like, what does that mean? Like, I get what the video and like presentation, but I'm confused about what community.
The community tools were like wikis and social networks, places where you can connect with other people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I went over the first two partly because they're the first on the list, but also because those are the most common that we actually already use, like presentation tools. And they talked about how, you know, PowerPoint was, you know, so popular when it first came out, and then for the presentation tools, they were talking about like, well, I've just mastered PowerPoint, but now there's all these other software, but you kind of have to move with the times, so that helps you get a jump on what the other softwares are that you can use these days. And then the video tools, we use those a lot too. I feel like, you know, you've assigned some kind of video before or something like that, where you could either make your own video or have the students make their own videos. Like, everyone's heard of doing that. But then they also have a section for mobile tools, and it's like you don't think about using mobile in the classroom so much unless you're talking like iPads, but like as far as phones go, you don't think about it as much. But the tools they had under that category were Poll Everywhere, which is where you make a survey and they can respond using their mobile phones, and then you get the data right there on yours. Or you can also use it with the iPads, I assume.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I used that in my social studies instruction class, and he would ask us to pull out our phones and answer, you know, the poll. And when we did mock debates, and then everyone used their phone to vote for who won, so it was a little more private. And so that, but yeah, with elementary students, that wouldn't be so reasonable because not all of them have phones. But with older students, like high school, they could do that.
Or even if you have, like I said, if you have the 1-to-1 ratio of iPads in the classroom, that can be useful there. If you provide the technology, then that would be more useful.
Yeah. And like I said, where it's, you know, you're not raising your hand so everybody will know what you voted for or whatever. You're doing it right there, so you don't have to feel embarrassed about, you know, voting for one thing as opposed to everybody, you know, getting on you for voting the way you voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely good for that, and I like that it's, you know, polling is usually good for that every person response, so that you ask everyone the same question, but then you get to see their responses in real time and see who's at what level or who's thinking what at what moment. So I like that it's instant with that too. You get the results right there, and you can automatically see who's thinking what.
Yeah, and people not playing follow the leader, seeing somebody else, seeing like their friend's hand shoot up, so they're like, oh, okay, I'll just go ahead and jump on this bandwagon. I'll put my hand up for this one too.
Yeah, get more personal. To think themselves.
Yep.
The other two were phone.io, which is just a free like voicemail, conference calling, podcasting, that kind of stuff, which is useful for you as a teacher or professional development purposes, or just, you know, parent-teacher conferences, stuff like that. And then the jot.com, which was basically you can, you know, it's like a voice reminder. Like you can leave yourself a voice note, and you can read or use it to read things or to organize yourself, get like email and text. It's basically like you're sending yourself a voicemail.
Almost like a little reminder for yourself.
Yeah, kind of like those little things that you see those little those commercials for, where it's like you say your grocery list into it, so you don't have to carry around a piece of paper. It's like that, but it's a tool that you can use with your mobile device. Oh. So you can send yourself a reminder through text message.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in your own voice.
I definitely need to check this out. I've never heard of like any of these websites, and I feel like there's benefits to all. I've heard of Prezi, but I mean a lot of them I've never heard of any of them. So I feel like I need to like go look at these and figure out like, okay, like I should use these.
Yeah, I've only heard of the Poll one and Prezi. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd heard of SlideShare, but I've never used it. But yeah, I've used Prezi before. Under the social one, they have like Edmodo, which I know some of my students at Fruitland use this. It's basically like Facebook, but it's safe for kids, and so they can use it. Basically feels like a real social media site, but it's strictly for the kids and the teachers, and they could submit assignments through there, and they could have discussions about whatever topic that you happen to be talking about in class. So it's educational, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like it feels like you're actually on Facebook, which is kind of interesting because the kids don't want to feel like they're, that they're being tricked into doing this. They actually enjoy it.
And like I said, they'll probably want to be on Facebook so bad. I mean, seeing maybe their older brother or sister on it, so at least they're just other friends, older siblings. This way they've got like their own version of it, so they can feel a little bit more mature than they probably are.
Yeah, and this way you can monitor what they're saying, so you can prevent that cyberbullying and stuff. You don't have to worry about them being on social media, and you don't have to worry about them submitting information online, stuff like that. Stuff you don't want your students to do, you can monitor all that and make sure they're not doing anything they're not supposed to while they're interacting with each other online. And then with it talks about Google Docs, which are really great if you want them to work together on a document, and then Wiki Spaces, which I don't know if we've used this in this class, but I've used it in the past. But it's basically like the Wix.com too. It's the same thing where you make a free wiki. And they have one specifically for education on Wiki Spaces, so you can do your classroom website that way. Like I've made wikis in the past with Wiki Spaces. It's really, really easy to use, and you can change your font and you can completely personalize it. It doesn't have as many pre-made I guess it doesn't have as many pre-made layouts as the Wix does, but it's a lot easier to edit, like the text and stuff, and it usually looks pretty good. It's very plain in the formatting, but like I said, it's easy to organize and use. Another one was Ning.com. I don't know if I said that right. Basically, you create your own social network with that. I didn't actually have a chance to check that one out, but it sounds interesting. I mean, I guess you could create your own classroom social network with that. They have a Classroom 2.0, which is a community of teachers. Basically, they share, just basically talk about education and what they're doing in their classroom. And it's just a community full of teachers where it's almost like a blog where they just talk about what they're doing. Yugma.com, which is desktop sharing and collaboration. Actually didn't get a chance to check that out, but I assume they're talking about like you can share what your own desktop. I guess you can work together to do things online. Smartboard Revolution, which is just where you can share your smartboard lessons with each other. So you can file share and stuff like that through the smartboard technology. And then CreativeCommons.com, which has a huge amount of resources that you can use that are all Creative Commons. So you can use them as a teacher and don't have to worry about taking anything you're not supposed to about those copyright issues. And you can and they're remixable too. So you can you can use them as is, or you can change them for your purposes, but it's still legal, which is great. And those ones all fell under community tools. So they had a huge, exhaustive list of those. So
yeah,
I like that Classroom 2.0, like teacher's blog that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be really useful.
Did he freeze?
No. Wait, did Amy freeze? Wait.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. I think there was one other concept under this. Like I said, there was a lot. They do have like a couple extra links that didn't fit in any of those categories. So one of those was Wordle.net, which I've used before, and basically you just you can take any site with an RSS feed, or you can copy and paste text into the field, but you put text in there and it'll make a word cloud, which where the most used words are going to be bigger, and the smaller ones are going to, the other ones are going to be different. But it's really cool if you want to like examine like the most used words in a story or on a particular news article or something like that, and it just makes an interesting visual display. You can customize the color and the font and the direction of the words, and they're just because when you first make it, they're all jumbled together. But but you can change it to make it look more attractive. And with the Wordle, the other thing is it does require Java, which I have a hard time getting that to work with my computer a lot of times.
yeah.
But yeah, but as long as you have a Java-enabled computer, it's actually pretty interesting. Another one was Blogster, which I remember using that one in high school. Which you could like basically it's almost like an interactive. I'm trying to think what it is, like a bulletin board. Not quite Pinteresty bulletin board, but a bulletin board, and you can like you can put like pictures, text. You can make different shapes and stuff. You can embed videos and stuff into it, and you just basically can present about a topic that way. I'm not sure why they didn't put this one under presentation software because I feel like it kind of goes along with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there is but it's like a poster. I think it's a multimedia poster. That's what they describe themselves as. And it's really cool if you want, students to put in stuff about, just on a certain subject. Like I remember one of the things we did in high school, we read Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and we had to pick a character and make a poster, that describes the character traits, that describes the character, and has like a monologue in the voice of the character, which we used this website called Blabberize where you could make the pictures mouth move, which was cool. But that one's not on here, but it was pretty cool. And then, of course, Blogster does have an educational site, blogster.com/edu, and that one's, exactly, it's Blogster, but for schools. There's VoiceThread, where you can share images, documents, video. There's Smilebox, which is like online scrapbooking and slideshows. Make Believe Comics, which is you can make your own comics, which there's a lot of free comic software out there. I haven't had a chance to try them all, but I mean, some are easier to use than others. But I'm assuming this one's really easy to use, and that's why it's included in this article. But you can make your own comic strip about, whatever subject. Class Blogmeister, where you can make a classroom blog. Wiz IQ, which is where you can share slides, whiteboards, and just share your slideshows that you make for your class, share your smartboard information or stuff like that. You can just share your lessons.
Those are all really useful.
That pretty much sums up everything that's on here. Like I said, it's a huge resource. It's got links to absolutely everything that you could possibly think to use in your classroom.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice one. Just put it on your decal. Just go ahead and load it up with everything for you.
Yeah.
Let's go with everything.
You want to say anything else, or?
I've covered everything I need to cover, and if anybody's got, any comments about it, I mean, I know I went over a lot in a really short time period, so it's kind of hard to process, but there's just so much that goes into that website.
Do you know, is it a constant update?
I think the URL has 2014 in it, so I'm assuming the last time it was updated was 2014. So I'm sure there's tons more that are out now, but it's still really useful because these ones are fairly new. I mean, it's only a year ago, so.
Yeah.
And it's they're all Web 2.0 tools. Some of them I heard of, some of them I haven't, but they're all free tools to use, and some of them have things specifically built for education, which is the great part about it.
That's awesome.
Okay, so my first tool is CAS Science Writer, and it's for writing science reports and labs, and it's free, and it's geared towards middle school and high school students, and it breaks down the process of writing a lab or a science report, and it breaks it down into smaller parts because it's such a big task, and it really makes it a lot easier. You can sign in as a guest or make an account, so I signed in as a guest and tried it out, and it takes you, or it takes the student or you through the process, and it has drafting, revising, and editing, so that's going to make their writing better just from going through that process and not just letting them, have it immediately go through. It has them draft it, edit, and revise it so that it's really perfect. And then there's also icons on there along with the broken down processes, and one was like a little icon of a girl that you could click on, and one was a little icon of a boy, and then one was a gecko. And the girl and boy were examples of different lessons, or not lessons, reports. And so you could kind of get an idea of what you need to do, and then the little gecko is for help, and it clarifies all directions when you click on it. So it makes it, kid-friendly and fun, and gives the student a lot of help and guidance with making their lab reports. And they also offer sentence starters, so if the student is a weak writer, or you just don't know how to say something that you saw or you did in your report, it gives you sentence starters, and it also gives checklists for grammar and content, so you can really make sure that you have everything. And then there's also a text help button, and that if you click on that, you can have it read your writing back to you that you've already wrote, or it'll read the directions to you, so that if you have your writing read out loud to you, that really helps with making sure everything's fluid and everything sounds right. And then also, for students who might be struggling readers or just slow readers, they can have the directions read out loud to them.
I really like that that allows you to integrate writing into your science without making it too hard for those students who are struggling with writing. Because, every student has their different ups and downs or different strengths and weaknesses. So there's some students that really love science, but then you say science report and they might get scared. They're like, oh, I hate writing, I'm not good at writing, but this could help them. And it could make it a little easier for them so they don't feel so scared by science reports.
Yeah, it really takes the whole writing part of a lab report or science report and makes it so much easier for the students, so it's really, they don't have to worry about that, and it's not going to be, oh, well, I know everything that I need to put in this report, but I just can't get it written down. Like, it really helps them out.
I really like the tools that are built within the website, like the reading the directions back to you. That's I think that's super cool. Yeah. The sentence starters, that's, well, you said something else, the checklist. That one, that's what I was gonna say. That's like a built-in rubric without you as a teacher making a rubric for their science report. It's like they know what needs to be in there. There's a checklist, and that they can get a better grade with that.
Yeah, once I started going through and I saw how much they broke the whole process down, I thought it was great. And then when I saw those extra tools, it's really a great tool to use for science, because it gives the students so many chances and to do well, and it helps them out with everything possible. The checklist, they're for content, but they're also for grammar, so you don't even have to stress too much about your grammar being right or knowing your perfect grammar, which is hard.
And I like what you said with the one thing I liked was the sentence starter, like you were saying as well. Just even if you know what you want to say, you just can't figure out how to get it out. Even if you don't use one of those starters, it just could trigger, give you an idea of how you want to go ahead and start it. You read that sentence, you're like, no, that's not what I want to say. This is how I need to get it out, and it helps you be able to come up with your own.
Yeah, because I feel like these are hard.
Yeah. I feel like it gives the students a chance to self-assess. Like, they can be, when they read it back to them, or they click the button so it reads it back to them, and then they think, well, I don't like the way that sounds, I want to change it to this. Or with the checklist, did I do this, did I do that? So it really strengthens their writing by making them go back and check themselves, which is really great. So it doesn't just hand it to them on a platter. It makes it easier, but at the same time, it makes them grow.
Yeah, and I like, especially for one of my biggest things is punctuation, like different commas throughout a sentence, where they go. Be here read back to you, where it's just rolling straight through, and you know there's supposed to be a pause there. It doesn't sound right. Helps you go ahead and realize where you need to go ahead and throw that comma in there.
Yeah, it definitely does, because when you're reading it in your head, you're putting the pause there, and you may not have a comma. So once it's read back to you, then you're like, oh wait, I need to put the comma where I was thinking it was in my head.
Yeah, and I think this tool, it's not only deals with science, it's also helping them with their writing skills. It's teaching them to edit, revise. So it's dual action, I guess. I don't know exactly how I want to say it, but it's going a cross-curricular, I guess. Is what
there you go. Yep.
There we go.
It's
cross different subjects.
Science and English skills.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could even use something like this for something that isn't science. I don't know if they're specifically outlining a science report, but maybe you could apply it to something else, like social studies or something like that, because it is really great that they are allowed to revise, and it helps them through with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it is I mean, I looked through the whole website and I didn't really see any chances to make it anything different than science, but maybe there's a CAS social studies tool, or something like that. This one is just science writer. But it is a really good tool. I can move on to my next one if you guys are ready.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. The next one is called Ant, and it's a video annotation tool. And there's actually a new version coming out in August. So once August comes around, it'll be even more updated than it is now. And there's two versions of it. There's version 2 and version 3, which version 3 obviously has a lot more that you can do with it. And the biggest thing in version 3 is that it provides the option for you to annotate YouTube uploads. So you can, I personally, when I did it, I uploaded our first Tool Talk YouTube video, and I annotated that. So you can upload your videos or anything on YouTube. It doesn't just have to be yours. Like, I didn't have to sign in to YouTube or anything like that because it's on Jessica's, but I could still, upload it and annotate it. And you can share your videos with other people that use Ant, and you can, let's see, you just kind of, it reminds me of TED Ed a little bit with the questioning part, because when we made the multiple choice questions, it had you choose, what time in the video that question goes with, and when you add your annotations, you put it at a certain time in the video, so whenever that time of video comes up, and it offers you you put in a title and then you put in a description for your annotation. So, if it comes at a certain point in this video where they use a certain word or say a certain person's name, you can have a little annotation pop up that defines the word or tells a little more about the person so that you can understand the video more, and it just offers the chance for you to further explain things and define and gives extra facts. And like I said, I annotated our first Tool Talk, and it was really easy to use.
Do the annotations stay up for just a certain amount of time, or is it up?
They're kind of on the side, and they just you can see them, but then when it comes to that point, it highlights them and makes it bigger than the other ones that you have.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say this tool kind of sounds like Zaption, like in the fact like it's interactive video, like you have these questions, or you have little notes that you want them to get down for something that like for later use, and that's what Zaption does. You have questions, little interactive things within the video for them to use.
Yeah, you could definitely add a question. Instead of further explanation or defining things, you could add a question at a certain point in the video that the students would have to jot down their answer to.
I feel like this is great for those YouTube videos that you found that aren't quite perfect. Like they're fun and engaging enough to get the students interested, but they don't give you exactly the information you want them to know. So you could put it in there yourself, so that way they can have the video and they're watching it and enjoying it, and then this little annotation pops up that gives them a little more information and then they know it's important. They know that's something they're going to need to know for later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And especially for me, like if I'm watching a TV show and closed caption happens to be on or something, it's impossible for me not to read the closed caption with the video going on. So once that's popping up for the
Oh no.
Paxton froze, disconnected.
Yeah. I think he froze earlier and it came back.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
If you want to say that again.
What's that? Yeah, I'll just say it just for what they like. It's tough for me not to read that, so once it pops up for the kids, of course they're going to read that while the video is going on in the background for them, just kind of help it stick in their memory for them.
Yeah. You guys have any other questions or comments? This
I
is,
think
I think
I would say with all the tools, like not just the one we did this time, but the other ones, they're all pretty easy to use. It seems like they're not like you don't have to be tech savvy to use them. You just got to put a little bit of time, playing with it, and it'll just like come to you eventually. Is what I want to say.
And they each give you like the little how-to videos to help you out get to the basics.
This one I actually thought going into it that it was going to be a little more difficult, but it was so easy.
I feel like a lot of these tools, like I love the fact that most of them are free, and if they're not, they're relatively inexpensive. and you can use them for multiple different uses. They don't just have one specific use in the classroom. You can use them for multiple things.
And with the free ones, it's not, most of the time you get something free, it's you can only get like a little bit out of it. With these that are free, you can still pretty much use the entire thing. I mean, there's very little that you need to pay for unless you really, really get into that certain tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use it effectively with the free version, even if there's a paid version that offers you more, features or whatever it is. The free version gives you enough that you can use it in the classroom and actually get something out of it.
Yep.
All right. Is that it?
I think so.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Final tool talk over.
Woohoo!
Nailed it.
Bye, guys. Signing off.
Bye.